Okay, Erin, take it away.
All right, welcome everyone. My name is Erin Fugate, and I'm one of the founding members of our Visionary Leaders Collective, and I'm an essential oil educator within our doTERRA community. You are joining us live for Oil Talks. What is Oil Talks if you're a first-time participant? Oil Talks is something we decided to do when we all were put at a shelter-in-place, shelter-at-home order. So if you're in quarantine, if you're staying home, if you have unfortunately found yourself without a job and you have a lot of time and you want to learn how to use these essential oils to stay healthy, take care of your family, uplift your mood, this is the place to be. We're not providing a replay. This is a live only so that we can be unfiltered and unplugged. But what we do is we put all the notes from each call onto our website. So you can find that at hellovisionary.life under Oil Talks and essentialwellness.life under Oil Talks. And our last couple of calls, they're all there with all the notes. And within 24 hours of today's call, we will put up notes and any references, any books, any recommendations that we have, they'll be there. So if you have someone who couldn't join the call live, you can send them to that website. They can get lots of the recipes and the good information. And if you want to review, you can go there to review. We recommend clicking the speaker view button on the top right-hand corner. That'll give you just the view of the speaker, and it'll take you out of the grid view, which can be a little easier, especially when Stacia presents her DIY. You're going to want to see what she's doing. We have a wonderful lineup today. Stacia's going to teach us about steams. Amber Jane will be here to do a grounding exercise with us. And we have Dr. Jody Anderson to teach us about keeping our gut healthy and our emotions healthy with one of the best products doTERRA makes, my personal favorite product. We should have time for questions. So if you have questions come up, just know that we'll take some time at the end. If you're brand new to essential oils or brand new to doTERRA and you don't have any essential oils yet in your collection, we highly recommend that you talk to the person who invited you to this call, because you can get your doTERRA products at wholesale prices. And as we like to say, friends don't let friends buy oils retail. So make sure you're getting your oils at wholesale prices. Plus, if you're in a financial situation where purchasing your oils is difficult right now, we also want you to know that doTERRA has an incredible rebate system where if you share doTERRA with friends and family, you can earn a commission, and it is very simple to end up getting your products for free. So you talk to the person who invited you about that as well. Okay, let's see. Is Amber Jane here?
I am not seeing her. So unless Amber Jane, you are here, if you can unmute yourself or let us know in the chat, but I have not seen her.
Okay, are you ready to go first, Stacia?
Yep, cool. I'm ready.
Okay, so we have one of our incredible essential oil educators from Hood River, Oregon, Stacia. She is a licensed massage therapist and certified in the Aroma Touch technique. And today, there's also two funny things that I learned about you, Stacia.
Uh-oh.
Number one, you like to dress up in costumes and go to doTERRA events. And the community favorite is when you showed up in a tuxedo. Is this true?
Oh, a tuxedo? I'm not sure. I don't remember that actually.
But well, it is remembered. It's going down in history.
Okay.
And then you have a pretty cool cat, we hear, as well. And maybe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think that's what you heard. My cat has a tuxedo.
Your cat has a tuxedo. I thought you liked to wear tuxedos to doTERRA events. And I was like, that's cool.
No.
So I'm going to turn it over to Stacia, and she is going to show us how to make a steam with your essential oils. Take it away.
Well, thank you, Erin. Yeah, it's a very simple thing I started a few years ago. Like if you have any kind of respiratory situation, of course we know aromatic. I actually have my diffuser here, aromatic is one of the best ways to use the oils, but making a little bit of a steam is even more intense. And it's super simple. I basically have just 3 things set out here. The first is an oil. Breeze would be a primary suggestion. You need a mug and then a towel. So even without the towel, even if you just had the first 2. So first, I just put some warm water in the mug. You probably want it a little warmer than tap water, but it definitely doesn't need to be boiling. That's almost too hot. I have a electric kettle, like a delicate setting, like 170 would be about right. And then I would just even 1 drop if you can, or 1 or 2. It kind of depends on the oil, and if you've done it before, it might be, you know, kind of intense to start, so start off slow. And then the warm water and the oil creates a lot of vapor. So one of the most important things to remember also is to close your eyes with Breathe or any peppermint minty oils. You know, might sting a little bit, and take it slow. It might also be a little intense when you first inhale. So bring it closer to you. If I tilt it down, I'm just gonna set it on the counter. I don't have a huge wide angle here. But then the next step would be to use the towel. So then I would just drape the towel up and over your head, make a little tent. That's videoing pretty good. And just lean over with your eyes closed and take some deep breaths. So even just a few minutes of that, you can really feel it. It's pretty intense. So I think that's all. I mean, otherwise, there's a choice of oils. Of course, Breathe would be a basic choice, or any of the oils in the Fluma roller that we've been using. Frankincense is great, lemongrass, On Guard, oregano, melaleuca. Arbor vitae is pretty intense if you did that by itself, but if you had this blend made up and then just put 1 drop in, that's another option. Thyme actually would be another really great choice. I've been loving thyme lately.
There's a couple of
So,
questions that I'll
Oh,
have you.
sure.
Are you saying any specific type of water, distilled, purified? Do you have any preference?
Any water is fine, I think. Yeah.
And then how long do you stay in the steam?
Probably personal choice. You could stay in there quite a while, but even a couple minutes might be good for someone that hasn't done it before, because it's amazing how fast the time goes by, and then it opens things up quickly.
Yes, I found that, especially if you're starting to get a sinus infection, I do oregano, peppermint, melaleuca, and lemon, and it clears it up so fast. It's intense. Like I go in the steam and my head kind of has to come out because it's really intense, but it works so good.
Yeah. And if you forget to close your eyes, you'll remember really quick.
Yeah, close your eyes. That's a good idea. Take breaks. You do not drink it. Someone asked if you drink it. You don't drink it. It's just to go up your sinuses. If you had congestion in your lungs, you could take it in your lungs too. Oh, they want me to say those oils again. Okay, this is if you're trying to fight off a sinus infection, so it's intense, but it really works. 1 drop of oregano, 1 drop of lemon, 1 drop of tea tree, and 1 drop of peppermint in a mug of water, like you're drinking a cup of tea. Yeah, it works really good. And then Stacia recommended Breathe or any of the oils in Fluma. Someone in the chat said Ravensara could be great. Laurel leaf would be great. Eucalyptus, rosemary.
Yep.
Anything, I mean, decongestant, anything decongesting or clearing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Stacia. Thanks
So,
for demonstrating
yeah,
that for us.
I think that's it. Super simple.
I felt like I was in over the cup with you.
Yeah, I
I
like
love
how it
that.
kind of
You know,
came around the
I've
screen.
also found that, of course, having that tent is fantastic, but just making a hot cup of, like a hot cup of tea, so just a hot cup, and then putting a drop of peppermint or breathe or any of those oils, like you said, and literally just holding it under your nose, just that in
Yeah.
itself is really powerful. So if I'm watching a movie or something and I'm fighting something or really need to clear up, then I'll just kind of keep that there and just keep wafting it under my nose. So helpful. So thank you so much for that. Well,
Sure.
I am really excited and feel really honored to introduce our next guest. She is an absolute gem, and we are so lucky. I always talk about how fortunate we are that we have these incredible practitioners on our team, and we are so lucky that we have this brilliant woman. So Dr. Jody Anderson is a Stanford-trained medical doctor and has had a long career in academic medicine. I hope I say this right, is a neonatologist. You can correct me, Dr. Jody, if I didn't get that right. She worked with babies, and she was in charge of the neonatal unit at OHSU here in Portland for many, many years. She was voted the top doc in Portland for 9 years running, and she has been recognized as one of the top physicians in America by US News and World Report. In other words, she is a big, big deal. She then transitioned to become an aesthetic specialist and is the owner of Fresh Faces RX here in our Portland area. And she was voted to have one of the top aesthetic clinics in Portland. So that was really awesome. She is also she's certified in integrative nutrition. She is a public speaker. In fact, she was featured on one of our panels at the doTERRA convention last year, where she spoke in front of 37,000 people. And we have her right here with us today. And I think probably most importantly, she is the mom of the most beautiful little girl, Zoe, who is a super soccer star. And we love her and Zoe and her husband, Andrew, so much. So Dr. Jody, come on in. She is beautiful inside and out. And she is going to talk to us today about how to support your immune system, the importance of proper supplementation, also how to support your digestion, as well as just sharing her own personal gems with us. So Dr. Jody, I'm going to pass it on over to you.
Thank you for that nice introduction. I never know what you're going to say, so I'm like, what's this? But thank you very much. And as you said all that, you know, I sat here and I was thinking, what am I really though? Because I am really human, so I'm going to make some mistakes, and I'll do my best to correct them as I go along. But some of those mistakes I think I've learned a lot from. I loved Stacia's presentation, and it's funny, you know, I feel like I have these years of experience and education, but when I get scared, about a month ago, I woke up on a Sunday morning and I had a big swollen lymph node right here. And I don't really get sick, especially in the last few years since using doTERRA, but I was really scared. This is at kind of the beginning of our quarantine here in Portland. And it's funny, you know, if you asked me this 5 years ago, I would have been like, go to Zoom care. I got to get to the doctor. I need some antibiotics. And I would have known what antibiotics I needed. I would have known what organism was causing this. And it's so different today. My first thought was, have I been taking my LLV? My second thought was oregano. And I was taught the sinus breathe that you were talking about, Erin. And I've also developed this really weird need for cinnamaldehyde. So it's for cassia. So I ran downstairs, I made myself a mug, and I put in it, I actually went a little off the rails with this, but I did On Guard, I did oregano, I did cassia. I probably did more oregano, Melaleuca, and lemon. So I didn't do the peppermint, which is usually my favorite, but the cassia I was really craving. And I know you said don't drink this, so I'll just tell you, I breathed it in, but I held it under my nose. And when the steam started to cool down, I went and I filled it up again, and I did it again. And then I was like, I'm just going to rub some of this oregano on my neck. And I didn't do it neat. I mean, I did do it neat. I lie. Rubbed it on my neck. And then I was like, gosh, is it coming from my ear? Where is this coming from? And then I drank the tea. And then I got on PubMed, which I go to some of our scientific resources a lot when I'm like, so which of these oils is going to kill a virus? Because I can't always remember. I mean, I think lemongrass, oregano, those are my powerhouses. Take a lot of DDR prime right now. I know all of that, but then I'm like, what's the science really say about a single-stranded RNA virus with this kind of coat on it? Is there anything? And it was pretty cool. Oregano really is our powerhouse, and I was really excited to see some of the research that's been done. And even if this was being recorded, I can say this because it's actually available. You can go to PubMed. You're always going to look for randomized controlled trials or meta-analyses when you're looking for quality evidence. You don't want these small scale, little tiny single case studies. And the research around oregano is amazing. And then my own personal kind of experience, I don't know if I had like a scrape in my ear canal or something. I managed to get a little oil in there too, but it all went down, and I didn't have to go to the doctor like I would have done. I didn't have to have somebody look in my ear. I didn't have to go get an exposure. So it kind of, you're saying this, and I guess I have a lot of resources at my fingertips, but when I'm scared, I turn to the oils first. And I don't even know if I knew that. I think with all of this, it's become so apparent to me. My parents are in their mid 70s and they're really active, but my mom's got some good lung disease, and it's all I can do to be sure they've got, they're taking their full dose of LLV. They've got their DDR prime. We've got all their oils diffusing. We've created all of the sanitizing mists that we can out of the oils, and they trust in it and believe it 100% too, because of their own experiences. And I don't know, it's one thing when you kind of play around or you talk about it. It's a whole nother thing when it's like a part of what keeps you safe, and it's a part of your health and your lifestyle. And I think I learned that in a new way all the time. And with the scare of this, it's really hit home just how it's such a natural resource for health for me. And I think about that. I think about the pyramid all the time, and how we've got these stages of things we can do before we actually need a doctor. So if that's, eat well, move your body, exercise, get good sleep, reduce your stress, reduce your toxic load. And the one before go to the doctor is, use informed care to decide what you need. And that's kind of the level that I got to when I got scared about my neck. What's my informed care? Well, what do I know even without going to PubMed, but even without being a doctor? One of my oily friends had already told me what she uses to get rid of infection in her sinuses. And that was my first go-to. I just was like, oh, add some other things in there because I've learned some other things from this community. So I don't know. It's really hit me in the last few weeks how much of my health I rely on doTERRA for. I do have a little bit of a story about that. Medical school, you go to college for 4 years, and then you go to medical school for 4 years, and then you do a residency for 3 years, and then I did a fellowship for 3 years, and then I did a master's in education for 3 years. It's all this education, all these degrees. And my husband asked me the other day, he's like, why didn't you kind of ask for more nutrition education when you were in medical school? So on average, medical students get 4 hours of nutrition education in the 4 years they're in medical school, nutrition. And did you know that 1 in 5 people globally is dying right now from malnutrition? And I don't mean they're starving. I don't mean they're not getting enough nutrition. I mean they're eating crappy things and it's killing them. So that's 11 million deaths a year that are associated with poor nutrition or poor nutritional choices. And yet doctors are not learning really much about nutrition. Now that's going to be very different when you go to most of your naturopaths. And I've learned a lot about nutrition from naturopaths, which has been amazing, and a lot about gut health and about supplementation, which I really respect the field for having such a comprehensive training program for the whole body. And that's something that oftentimes in Western medicine, we're very fragmented. And in nutrition, that's definitely true. But when Andrew asked me that, I was like, it never occurred to me in medical school that I should ask for more. I mean, it was intense all the time. Study, study, study. I'm learning a whole body system, everything that can affect it. I was so overwhelmed. It didn't even occur to me that I was missing out on some really basic things. So when I talked about that pyramid, let me tell you what I missed out on. Eat well, didn't get that one. Get some exercise. We didn't talk about that. Get some good sleep. We didn't talk about that. Reduce my stress. We didn't talk about stress. Reduce my toxic load. I didn't know what toxins were. Informed self-care. Didn't know anything about that. I knew how to go to the doctor. That's what I learned in medical school. So none of what I spent all those years in training and then all those years practicing, none of it contributed to me knowing how to take good care of myself, how to keep myself out of the doctor's office or out of the hospital, or how to help anybody around me do those things. I'll tell you, I mean, if you have a baby who's very, very, very sick and requiring a lot of help, I know what to do there. That's sort of it's kind of an unfair education in a lot of ways, that you'd spend all that money and time in your life to come out to be this little robot who could do just one thing, but you had no idea how to take care of your person. And perhaps that was my responsibility along the way. I can definitely take responsibility for that, but I was pretty overwhelmed. It was a lot for me to try to learn just how to learn to take care of sick babies. So, fast forward, I'm in that career for many, many years. And about 5 years ago, I just completely had a breakdown. I hit a major wall and I didn't understand it. I didn't know. I was kind of shaking. I was never sleeping. Doctors were prescribing me sleeping medications and then medications to wake me up. And it was, especially the last 6 months, they were a mess. I was a total mess. And I was driving home from work one day and I had to go across a bridge. And I started thinking, well, if I drive off this bridge, I could end it all. And I have to be sure my daughter gets my life insurance. So it's going to have to look like I had played out the whole thought process of how I was going to end it. And I got home and I was like, what am I doing? Why am I so overwhelmed? Why can't I handle my life? And it turns out if you don't sleep well for months on end, you're running around with massive chronic stress and near-most adrenal fatigue. You're constantly thinking about how to take care of everybody else all the time. And you don't know how to eat. So you just eat whatever you can quickly throw down your throat. You don't have time for exercise. The most exercise I used to get was just running from code to code to code. And I really slept on nights when I could come home from the hospital. I couldn't sleep. So months and months and months of that, and really piled on years of kind of a lesser scale of that, I ended up miserable. I ended up suicidal. And luckily I had kind of a moment where I was like, this isn't working. And I had to make really hard choices, because it wasn't necessarily that the NICU was killing me. It wasn't necessarily like any one thing. I just couldn't put my whole life together with everything I was trying to do. So I had to take it all apart and put it back together. And it started really with figuring out what I needed on a personal level to just be human in the world. And I was bitter that I didn't figure this out until I was in my 40s and in a career that was, for all, like, the way it looked on the outside, it looked great, but I was so miserable. So once I stopped and kind of pushed the reset and went through a lot of work to undergo some transformation, I admitted to myself that I kind of hated that job. I kind of hated how I felt. I hated the ethical controversy it was always putting me in. I hated the selfless way I had to live in the world, because I never figured out how to balance, take care of me so I can take care of others. And the journey since then has been, it's not been a simple, straightforward path. I've definitely veered off and had to get back on, again, very human. But the things I've picked up along the way have been, most of it from my doTERRA community, most of it from, education I didn't get in school, has really helped me to kind of see that there's just some pretty simple basics that can keep us healthy. And, the story I've told you is one of poor mental health and one of poor nutritional health, one of poor spiritual health. And I think that figuring out how to be a healthy human is not as complex as I maybe once imagined, or maybe I just learned to value that more along the way. So that pyramid, I go back to that a lot, because it kind of fascinates me that those simple concepts were like missed in my 20 years of intense study. So that first step, eat well, what does that really mean? Well, it's striking to me that people are dying because of what they eat, and a lot of people are dying because of what they eat. And it's infuriating to me that there's so many politics that really mislead us and guide us into eating the wrong things, eating things that are unhealthy for us. When you look at the evolution of even our food pyramid or the healthy plate, it's frankly, I think, dictated by the Dairy Council and Big Pharma and Happy Meat and all kinds of things. But we've been told a lot of things that are incorrect, and it's hard to sort that through and figure out what eating healthy really means. What I do know is that, from soil depletion to availability to the way we grow things these days, our fruits and vegetables don't contain all of the nutrients that we need. They say that 95% of Americans have some vitamin deficiency. Think about all the food we have access to. We can get anything, right? We just choose poorly. Or, they say that an orange I eat today is 8 times less potent than an orange my grandmother could have eaten, and that's because of the way we're growing things. It's so frustrating. And I remember coming up, like even in med school, people would talk about vitamins, and it was kind of like this taboo thing. You weren't supposed to take vitamins. Vitamins are not good for you. How do you know what to take? Your body should know how to process the food. You're getting enough food. You don't need. And the truth is, I don't know what was going on 20 years ago, but today the truth is we can't get all the micronutrients we need out of our food. And some people would say you need 12 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Sure, I think that's probably true for the number of antioxidants and vitamins and minerals you need, but that doesn't even cover it for the healthy fats that you need. That doesn't cover the full array. So I do the best I can, remaining very human with what I eat, but I definitely feel a need to supplement, and that's where the Lifelong Vitality Pack comes in. It's a whole nother kind of industry when you start looking at vitamins. What you basically want is something that's going to be bioavailable, right? Because I guess maybe it's so American, the way we've handled the vitamin industry, where we think, more is more. So we have these mega dose vitamins in a single pill that we take. Half of the vitamins in there are synthetic, and your body can't read what they are, so you don't absorb them. And the rest is in such a high dose, it actually shuts off your absorption. So when you take your vitamin and your urine is yellow, you're either wasting a lot of money by putting your vitamins in the toilet because you're not absorbing it. And you have to ask yourself, what am I doing? And there are a significant number of studies that show that an excess of vitamins can be really harmful for your system. And when we try to create things like synthetically create a vitamin, getting the proportion of those micronutrients right in that can be really difficult. And those are like nature made. They have the right percentage of ingredients that our body can absorb. It's an important piece of that. So bioavailability is huge, and generally vitamins need to be whole food based in order for your body to recognize it, absorb it, and then utilize it in your metabolic and enzyme functions. Josie always says it, and I think it's really true. You are what you eat, but you're really what you absorb. And that kind of, it always brings me back to this idea of like cell turnover. So what does that mean to say, you are what you eat? Well, our cells are not static, right? Like my skin cells on my face are turning over every 30 days, right? And so what are those made out of? And my liver is turning over every 5 months. My blood cells are turning over every 4 months. Like everything has a lifespan, and then a new one replaces it, even your heart, even your bones. But you have to ask yourself, what are those organs and what are they being made of? And they've got to be made of something you're putting into you. It's your food. That's what you're made of. So the choices that we make today, and I think this is where we go wrong with our diets a lot, where it's easy to just get unconscious, not be woke, and just eat whatever is there or whatever looks good or tastes good. But the choices we make today are what we're building ourselves out of. So when I was talking about, the issues with, physical health, spiritual health, mental health, all of those things are built out of the choices that we make today. And the LLV, the vitamins are like the building blocks of kind of what you want to be made of. So, this idea of emotional health, when I was eating whatever, not sleeping, running around in chronic stress, my emotional health really suffered. Some of that, though, was physical. It's because I had a ton of inflammation in my intestine. Just the LLV alone can reduce inflammatory levels. That paired with things like Terrazyme that help you break down more of the food you're eating. When that food's not broken down, it creates more inflammation. Those two things can improve the function of your intestine. And that's where the majority of your serotonin is. Serotonin's your happy hormone, right? So when we're talking about mental health and spiritual health, if you don't have enough serotonin available to you, it's one of the ways you start to feel worse and worse. And then where's your motivation to even try to take care of yourself? In the small LLV study that was published, after 2 months, there was a significant improvement in depression scores. And I think it makes sense. Once you start to heal the gut, you have more of that hormone available. So that sort of eat well level of the pyramid is thick, and it's important, and it reflects, I think it's kind of circular, right? Because you choose to eat well when you feel good about yourself. If you eat well, you'll start to feel better about yourself. So it's a really critical, and I love that it's the base of our wellness pyramid in doTERRA. The other components to LLV, the antioxidants, that's your alpha CRS. I was just about to start this. My husband always brings me my vitamins. The antioxidants are interesting. So they're all the rage. The unifying theory in what ages your body is a free radical. Free radicals are generated every time a cell gets attacked by something like, a UV light ray comes in, attacks the cell, and it steals an electron from the outer ring in a cell, and that cell kind of catches on fire. And every cell, it's actually that atom, everything it touches, it steals another electron, and it creates this cascade where you're getting free radical, creating free radical, creating free radical. So those free radicals damage cell membranes. They damage the nucleus of your cell. And that means they get to the DNA of your cell. And when you start to damage your DNA, your cells don't function well, they don't reproduce well, and we're not recording, it causes cancer. That's why, these UV rays are so dangerous. We think about it easily in the skin, but the other things that generate free radicals, I was a free radical machine when I used to work in the hospital. It's stress, poor sleep, poor diet. Just natural metabolism is generating a ton of free radicals. And the way to absorb those is with antioxidants. So the thing about antioxidants is if they're not from a natural source, they're harmful. So people they learn that much, then they pile on a ton of synthetic antioxidants, and you actually see an increase in cancer rates. So the source of the antioxidants is really important, and your best source is from plants. So when they say 1 drop of clove oil is equivalent to 3 pounds of carrots of antioxidants, clove oil isn't even the highest ORAC score, or the oil with the highest amount of antioxidant in it. The essential oils are cram-packed full of these antioxidants. So every time I do the tea trick, or I brush my teeth with On Guard, or I rub some Deep Blue on my shoulder, or I diffuse Forgive, every single oil is an opportunity for me to get a natural dose of antioxidants. So no matter what other choices I'm making as I walk through the world and I am inviting more free radicals into my body, I am also balancing that with natural antioxidants to help combat that. And that's like my little gift to myself. That's one of the many ways that I'm like, well, I'm going to take a little bit better care of myself today. I'm going to expose myself to these natural antioxidants. So that alpha CRS is the internal way. It's high in something called polyphenols. Green tea is high in polyphenols. Polyphenols are like a category of antioxidants that can really help to neutralize free radical load, and they're natural and your body can absorb them. And then the third component of your LLV is the one that I think is easiest for me to take. It's the it's this omega, this E omega. This is interesting. Everybody's been trying to figure out how to put together omega-3s in a way that you can absorb them and that they're safe for you. And here's the reason why. We're healthy when our omega-3s, these are all just long chain fatty acids, omega-3s are balanced with omega-6s. Omega-6s are pro-inflammatory. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. the average diet is a 1 to 20, which means 20 times more omega-6. It's one of the major contributors to all the inflammation we have in our system. And I think I'm really drawing this from my naturopathic friends that have educated me. You know, inflammation is the source of most disease in many models. So our diet is really contributing to our potential for all of these diseases. So the omega, and companies are trying to do this where they have a complex of more omega-3 so they can balance out all of the omega-6 that we get in our diet. Well, omega-3s, there's two that have been shown. It's EPA and DHA. They're two that have been shown to profoundly improve your health, from brain health to eye health to your gut health to your reducing inflammation. They have to be absorbable and they can't get oxidized. So there are many things that are special about the E-omega, but one of the things is the fact that it doesn't oxidize because it's complexed with essential oils like clove that have a really high antioxidant load, and that protects it from getting oxidized. So you're actually getting the safest form of the DHA and the EPA that you need. And it's interesting, you can find this stuff on the doTERRA website. Every time I do this, I go in and I'll be like, what are they saying about LLV? And then there'll be another article and another article and another, and I just go down this huge doTERRA rabbit hole. But I was reading before I did this, I was just reading another, and they may have had it up for a minute because I haven't looked at this, but you know, they're talking about how when you're trying to lose weight, a higher amount of omega-3 can really help you to lose weight. So you want to be taking in your healthy omega-3s, your olive oil, your fish. And that we've known about weight loss. My mom lost a lot of weight when she was taking the whole LLV, and I think a lot of it was bringing down her inflammation, but this was probably a component. And, you know, the second thing I was looking at was we have all this concern about fructose and the dangers that fructose has on our cells and our brain and the way we metabolize things. And your EPA and your DHA, your omega-3s can actually reverse the brain damage that's happening from the consumption of fructose, which I think is pretty amazing. And it's just not across the board. You couldn't go to GNC and pick up, you know, a fish oil and hope to get the same safety and the same effectiveness and the same absorbability and the same array of omega-3s that you need for all of this function. So it's and I guess you also, you know, some people are like, why don't you just eat a lot of fish? Well, thank you, mercury. It's tricky. Like, you have to balance out the amount of fish you'd have to eat, and the risk for mercury would be significant. And among other things, if you're talking about farm or fresh and where you would get that from. So again, I don't get what I need from my food. In that first base of the pyramid, what I'm building my body out of, I've got to supplement. And this is the safest way for me to get the rest of those nutrients that I need so that my gut functions, I bring my inflammation down, I allow my brain to function at its best. It's really it's a big piece that was missing for me for a really long time. I'm gonna take a breath and see if there are any questions because I'm talking so much.
Let's see if any, okay. One question.
Oh, wait, did I just see Lotus? Hi, Lotus.
One question that is coming up is, what does someone do if they start taking the LLV and they have like an adverse reaction in their digestive system, even if they've tried to only take one, and even if they try to separate them out? What do you recommend if they kind of can't handle it?
I don't, so I have a lot of people that end up taking it. I haven't met very many that can't handle it. So it's curious to me, but it would depend on what those symptoms were. And I would probably get some help from a naturopath. I think that's a better person to even ask this question of, because I've heard Josie talk about this, and I think it's a lot related to, you know, where your digestive enzymes are, what your level of inflammation is, what your absorbability is like, what your diet is like. And I have to kind of put a limit on what my knowledge is of that. And that's, I would ask Josie if I had that issue.
So good advice, and everyone should know that we do have practitioners on the team that do phone consultations.
Awesome.
We have Dr. Louise Rose, we have Dr. Vivian Engelson. Maybe I'll put some of those links on the website. So if you have those more specific questions, you could schedule an appointment with them.
Yeah.
Any other questions right now, or we'll let Jody continue? I think that we have one question, which If you want to answer, you're welcome to. If not, I can also speak to it. But it's this concern about us having carrageenan in our capsules, and if that is something that they're going to stop doing. And the answer is no, they're not going to stop doing it. But do you have any thoughts on carrageenan and it being in our capsules?
Well, I'd love to hear what you've heard about this, Erin, but the last that I really heard about this is that the doses that we get from these are so small compared to what we can get from isn't it like a bowl of ice cream, which maybe you guys don't eat ice cream, I don't know, but isn't a bowl of ice cream just like skyrocketed compared to what we get off of the capsules? So my concerns about that compared to the other toxins I'm exposing myself to, I'm like, I can handle it. But what's your take on that?
Yeah, there's two things that we're looking at. One, carrageenan is this buzzword that has a lot of fear around it because it can be disruptive to your digestive system. But there's not only one type of carrageenan out there. There's the bad kind and there's the good kind. It really just stems from something called Spanish moss, which is a plant. And so it's important to know in all doTERRA things, doTERRA is always going to use the best source of whatever they have to use. In this situation, we have to have a little carrageenan in there because it's a stabilizer within the capsules. But like you're saying, it's the tiniest amount. You get more when you go have sushi or ice cream, or if you're drinking nut milks. So it's a very, very small amount. So that's the 2 points. It's the good kind of carrageenan. It's not going to disrupt your gut like the bad kind does. And it's a tiny, tiny amount that is barely noticeable.
Erin, I actually want to just make a little correction here. Dr. Hill did say at the last convention that they were going to be phasing carrageenan out of the products. I don't personally know what that exact timeline is. I'm seeing that it has been removed from, was it the peppermint beadlets, but there's a little bit of a chat here on the side around that.
Great. And that's one of the things we love about doTERRA is they're always moving us towards their motto is pursue what's pure.
Isn't that so different than, I won't talk politics, but it feels so often like if you were to call that to someone's attention, especially a big industry, the first response would be denial. The second response would be cover up. The third response would be to make excuses. And I too just love the integrity that doTERRA operates with and trust it as well. I trust that this is the best that we can get right now, and it will continue to be the best that they can do for us.
Dr. Jody, I love everything you've said. Thank you so much for being here. One question that I have is, given our current situation, and for all the reasons why we should be supporting our immune system, can you just speak to why now it's especially important to be taking the LLV and supporting our immune system with those nutrients on a daily basis?
Yeah. I bet there's probably a lot of people here that would think about this in different ways. And so it's obviously just my opinion, and collectively, I bet we all have great answers to this. But when I think about this, I think about what are the battles that my body is in every day? When I get up in the morning, what does my body have to battle against? So if I'm going to eat donuts and drink Diet Coke, and that's one battle that I bring into my body, right? And if I am going to get up and I don't run, but let's say I go running and I run the heck out of things and I increase my inflammation like crazy, that's another battle I bring into my body. Or maybe I decide to stay up really late and not get enough sleep. That's another battle I bring into my body. Or maybe I decide to get in a fight with my husband and it really stresses me out. That's another battle I bring into I'm choosing like these battles, and every single one of those is a source of inflammation. And if my body is trying to fight inflammation and trying to fight my poor food, poor sleep, poor exercise, these poor habits, then how is it going to fight a couple of viral particles that land in my throat? So first it starts with making the choices. So I'm making sure my body is as healthy and strong as I can. And those are the basics, right? Eat well, get some sleep, exercise, reduce your toxic load, and reduce your stress. Those are our basics, and they're critical right now. And taking the vitamins, I can think about all the science of why that's helping me, but what it really does is it throws me into my routine. Sorry about the plane. And my routines, my self-care routines are what I attach so many things to them that are about my health. So, I attach my gratitude list to my self-care routines. I attach my intention setting to my self-care routine so that I'm getting my vitamins and I'm intentional and I'm awake and I'm making decisions because number one, I don't want to get sick. I want to be as strong as I can so that if those viral particles land in my mouth, in my eyes, up my nose, my own innate immune system can take it. And, over the last 3 years, I believe in my body's ability to heal. And I think that's a really big part of walking through this world in this time right now with strength. I believe in doTERRA. I believe my body is healthy. I believe I have the strength to heal. And, I believe I'm doing everything I can to take on what's going to come in me. And I don't know what that thing was that showed up in my throat weeks ago. It's not generally how a virus presents. However, even in that moment, I was like, I can fight this off. My body is strong. I've done the things I know necessary to keep it strong. And I guess that's maybe that confidence that doTERRA gives me. I trust the products. I trust that they're working. I trust the science. I trust that they're doing everything they can to help me learn how to be as healthy as I can be. So right now, I always say self-care is healthcare. I really think that it's your building blocks. And so right now, these daily habits, choosing to make the healthy choice right now couldn't be more important. You don't want to bring battles into your body that are unnecessary. Let your body save all of its armory, all of its arsenal, so that if you do face a pathogen, it can take it on.
So now we really are in our time for questions, the last 12 minutes of this call. So if anybody has a question, please put it through in the chat and we will ask it of Dr. Jody. And some people were asking about is LLV gluten-free and soy-free? And Mandy has given a great answer in the chat.
What'd she say?
She says there's no wheat or soy in LLV, but labeling had to change because of federal law changes. There is none in the final product, but since at one point on the process it comes in contact with wheat, during fermentation, it had to be listed. They are third-party tested, gluten-free final products. Same with TerraZyme, etc. Nice. And she's reminding us that if we ever have a question like this, email productsupport@doterra.com and they will give you all that information. It comes up so often, this labeling thing. We have to label it a certain way because of laws. And this can be a similar issue when it comes to ingredients. You might see an ingredient on the label and go, hey, I thought that wasn't a good ingredient. But if you email product support, you'll discover, well, they're using the natural version of it, the good version of it, but labeling laws make them label it as such. And so it's not always what it looks like on the label. So we really encourage you to email product support and get the whole story.
That's great. Thanks, Mandy.
Oh, this is a great question. Pam would love to know your self-care routine beyond the Lifelong Vitality Pack.
So you guys know I'm crazy about skin, right? So I have to bring up kind of some of this is a little different. I've learned some kind of cool new things. I love the doTERRA Essential Skincare line. It's my favorite, and there are 8 products in there. They end up costing $25 a piece, which I own a skincare clinic, and we sell this really expensive stuff. So the fact that I love these inexpensive products says a lot. We actually looked at their effectiveness in a big group of people on Tiffin's team, actually, and I was blown away. So I think they're effective. They're not very expensive. They're super safe. And anyway, they're a big part of my self-care routine. So I am in a habit right now where I get up in the morning and I take a shower, and I love like a shower meditation. I actually have one of those little diffusers for the shower, and I always do peppermint and wild orange, which I know is kind of boring, but it's really invigorating for me, especially the peppermint, which is probably my favorite. And I take some time in the shower, and I just stand under the shower and I kind of set some intentions for the day. In terms of my skin, the allowing the keratinocytes, that top layer of skin, to really kind of get get wet and warm, it softens them. So then you do your cleanse and scrub in the shower, and I use the essential skincare cleanser followed by the invigorating scrub. And it is one of the best ways to remove the dead skin cells and help your skin exfoliate and really kind of liven it up. A lot of what we do as we get older is we put on things like moisturizer, and it puts our skin to sleep. So we have to have a lot of work around waking it up. So that's a part of me kind of starting off the day by taking care of myself. I get out of the shower, I tone my face, and then I do something that's really hard. I look in the mirror, and I don't know about you, but especially when I'm not feeling very positive or I feel shameful about something, I just can't look in the mirror. And I look in the mirror and I try to set an intention for the day. There are oils that support me in that. I know this is an expensive one. I'm so addicted to rose oil. I can't stop with the rose oil. And so I have a million stories of all the dumb things I've done with the oils. We probably all do. I did put straight rose oil on my freshly cleaned skin under my eye right before I was going to speak at convention, and my eye like caught on fire basically. It was all better with Yarrow Pom, but it was not a good idea. But for the most part, I'm crazy about rose oil. And rose oil, that oil of self-love, and that's what I try to really take in when I'm setting my intention for the day. And it's a simple thing. It's something like, I'm going to show up as my best self, or I'm going to tell the truth today, or I'm going to set my boundaries today, things that are important for my own kind of the way I have to walk in the world. And that's kind of my me time. I brush my teeth with I actually consider brushing my teeth to be a part of my self-care, because it feels like I'm giving myself some carrots. And then I do some things around the house to kind of help my family wake up in a grounded way. And I like to diffuse. I'm so, again, black spruce and frankincense together. I love it. And that's what I get diffusing in the house as people are waking up. My nighttime routine is not that much different, and I kind of couch it that way, but I do my gratitude list when I look in the mirror at night, and that kind of puts my brain at ease. I've worked really hard to learn how to sleep. I have a lot of phobia about not sleeping, and the oils have been my best friend in that process. I think they all probably work for me now. But, I finish washing my face and I look in the mirror and I think, I'm just going to say 5 gratitudes. And once I get on a roll, they just more and more and more things I can be thankful about. And somehow that takes just the worry out, and I go to bed, and I use my oils as I'm getting into bed so that I can kind of give that little gift back to myself, calm my brain. And it's amazing. I have the best non-pharmacologically supported sleep I've ever had. I sleep at 7-8 hours. I wake without an alarm. I've never been like this. That's the best gift that I've been able to give myself, is that really healthy sleep. And the fact that I value it, that's new. That's really new. It's a big part of my self-care, is protecting it.
Thank you for giving us that. That's great. I'm going to put that in the notes. Someone is asking, what do you think about internal rose for this specific threat we're dealing with?
Rose is pretty antimicrobial, right? It's awesome. Ever since, I think it was Dr. Hill, maybe it was at convention, talked about putting it in water and drinking it. That's what's at my bedside. It used to always be lemon water, and I still do that in the mornings. But when I go to bed, I like to have a glass of water at my bedside, and there's rose in it. Some oils have more research in PubMed around them than other oils, but that doesn't mean that's the only source of how to understand how the oils support your body. So, I think rose is kind of an expensive way to get after some of your germ needs, but it sure does calm my system. so I'm a big fan.
I love the idea of rose water.
Yeah.
So yummy. If you're willing, do it. I've got a little spray of rose water, and I just like to spray my face, and I spray my throat.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I just feel like that's gonna fight things.
I saw this thing where they were talking about how the virus, like I walk a lot, and they were talking about how if you're walking behind somebody, it can come back. Like they listed the number of meters. I think it was like a meter. And if you're running, it can be 3 meters. And then I think about it getting in my hair. And one of my favorite things for my hair is I love to mix jasmine, rose, console, a little bit of ylang ylang, and Oh, and a little bit of sandalwood. And I have that in a spray bottle. And I'm always like, oh, this needs to be in my hair right now. And I pretend like it's for the antiviral reasons. I think it's just because it smells really good. But yeah, I'm a big fan.
Ooh, I love that idea. Hairspray. Your hair. So some people are wanting to know what your favorite sleep oils are.
So Forgive, I love the wood oils. So Forgive, and I use a lot of the black spruce. It's sometimes I take such a hiatus from lavender that when I smell it again, I'm like, oh, that's right. Because I think we get exposed to a lot of synthetic lavender out there. So it's easy if you're not just smelling it directly. It's easy for me to forget how amazing the doTERRA lavender is. But it's all about wood oils for me for sleep. And I like cedar wood, I love. And I like to, sometimes, I don't know, I like to kind of rotate the woods, and I like to pretend like it's not forest bathing, but I like to pretend like I've kind of got my forest of oils. So it's all the wood oils for me. I love the smell of them so much. Siberian fir is one of my favorites. My husband asked me to make him cologne, and I'm always like, oh, I'll just dump all the Siberian fir and some frankincense. I'm like, just put less of that on. I like it when he smells like a tree, I guess.
I love the hinoki.
Oh, yes, yes.
The tree oils are so good. Okay, more questions about your hairspray. Are you putting it in a carrier oil or water?
So I'm expensive with this thing. I should go get it. I don't want to waste any space with coconut oil. So I use a lot of rose, jasmine, console. Whisper is in it, but I just fill it up with the oils. And it lasts for a while. When I'm stressed, I can go through it more quickly. I carry it in my purse. I use it on my skin. I want that smell around me as much as possible. And I mean, I really think it calms my system. But it also kind of reminds me, you know how I was saying, like, every moment we get to make a choice about what we're kind of building ourselves out of. Things like that keep me in the moment thinking, okay, it matters right now if I choose this or this. Like, it keeps me waking up, woke, one of those things.
So are you putting pure oil in a spray bottle? Kind of like, I don't know if everyone can see me.
Yeah, but bigger.
Awesome. I love that. I'm going to try that. You're like our luxurious coach.
It's so bad. Oh my gosh. I remember a Tiffany Peterson presentation, and she was talking about rose oil, and it was only when I had the rose oil that came in the little roller. And I was like, it gets stronger than this. And now, like, just even a drop in a bath, I put a drop in for Zoe's bath, and she's like, Mom, like, just like, this is amazing. The littlest tiny amount goes so far.
Yeah. My husband puts it straight rose on his chest before bed. It helps him sleep the best. And I'll be laying in bed and all of a sudden go, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah, it's
so good.
Yeah.
Splurge on rose, everyone. If you haven't, it is like every queen and king deserves a bottle of pure rose in their life. Okay, we'll have two more questions and then close up. One, and these kind of go together. Does your whole family take the LLV? And at what age do you think it's appropriate for a kid to start the LLV?
Those are really good questions. I'm not sure if I'm board certified in pediatrics. You'd think I'd know this. LLV is safe and it's whole food based. So I don't know that the youngest age, I don't know what kids are going to want to swallow those, but I think that, yes, I think kids should take LLV. I like the way that they've done the dosing where when you weigh less than, 120 pounds, you take 1 pack a day. And if you weigh more than that, you take 2 packs a day. So whatever the numbers are. The truth is, I think right now I'm taking 2 packs a day. And mine are in the sachets because that helps me carry them around with me and remember. I want to be sure I'm getting all the micronutrients that I need. So yes, my whole family takes it. And it's so, I don't know, like when my husband brings me my pack of vitamins, he's always like, have you taken these yet? It just feels really loving. Like I feel like someone's taking care of me and it's a nice feeling. It was, I can let those things slide. I think that's maybe human nature. But when this really started and I started thinking, oh my gosh, how do I protect my family best? Which means my parents, my brother, his family, my daughter, my husband. My first thing was everybody needs your full dose of LLV every day. And I said to them, and I want you sleeping, and I want you reducing your stress, and I want you to move your body, and you've got to make good food choices. We've got to trust your own body to be able to fight this off and heal from it. And it's going to be able to.
Did she freeze for everyone or just me?
Oh,
you're back. You froze for a second.
What I was going to say is you might not be able to protect yourself from actually getting the virus, but you can do everything possible to make your body as strong as it could possibly be if you do get it. And then your outcomes are going to be better.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask you for a little, what I'm hearing you say, and I want to find out if this is true, is for your family and your loved ones, if you could only choose one doTERRA product for them, are you starting with the Lifelong Vitality Pack?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I would agree. I would give up the oils before I'd give up the Lifelong Vitality Pack.
That's just a lot coming from you.
Holy
moly. Holy moly.
If you know me, I've been using oils for 30 years, absolutely in love with them, but the Lifelong Vitality Pack has made the biggest difference in my life and my family's life. And I hope no one ever makes me make that choice. But if someone said it's the oils or the Lifelong Vitality Pack, Erin, it would be the Lifelong Vitality Pack without a doubt.
Wow.
And you get oils in it, so it's kind of. Oh, well, Jody, I could listen to you talk all day. You're an incredible presenter, such a loving soul, and you have so much wisdom, and we're really grateful to have you on the team and that you shared this time with us.
Thanks for inviting me. It was so nice. I just kind of feel connected by seeing everybody on the screen. Nice to see you guys. And I just have to say one more time, it was so cool that we've got Bali represented. Hi, Lotus.
Bali, and we have Spain, and we have Australia.
It's awesome.
And there might be some other countries here.
We had Athens, Greece on our last call.
That's so cool.
Yay. Okay, friends, we're going to close up. I want to give you just a few last announcements. Again, if you don't have doTERRA oils in your life yet, talk to the person who invited you so they can get you the best price and help you with a plan for how to start using them. If you've never been to a basic beginner's intro to oils class, we have one next Tuesday the 14th at 4 p.m. West Coast time. Please join us. All the information is on the website, hellovisionary.life. Bring your friends. It's a great place to learn about the basics. Like if I just want to get my first couple of oils. And lastly, I feel like I'm forgetting something, Aisha. It must just be pregnancy brain. Lastly, we will be back here next Wednesday. And let me tell you what we have planned. Some pretty cool things. We have Tracy Brown doing a DIY demonstration where she's going to teach us how to make bath salts, so for relaxing aromatherapy baths. And Ariana Harley will be teaching us about using the oils for our emotional health. So that's 12 p.m. West Coast time. Will be next Wednesday. And then next Friday, which is 4 p.m. West Coast time, we have Dr. Rose teaching us all about hydrotherapy and the different ways you can use oils with your hydrotherapy. So these oil talks are so informative. We love spending time with you. We hope you come back, and we hope you bring friends. And remember to check the website within about 24 hours for all the notes from today. So thank you so much, everybody.